right now on 5 on Your Side at 10.
A push for expanded safety in South City.
I think it's helped a lot, honestly, especially because as soon as they hear gunshots, they know exactly where to go.
Neighbors react to the plan to bring Shotspotter to Dutchtown and Mount Pleasant.
Stormy start to the weekend, but any severe weather chances don't arrive until late in the day Saturday. We are tracking when the rain will impact your outdoor plans.
But first, a mother's tearful plea after police say a driver hit her daughter and drove off.
How can you just hit her like that and just keep going?
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm Kelly Jackson. Tonight, the teen remains in intensive care days after being hit by the driver in North St. Louis County. Just hours ago, her family shared their passionate pleas with 5 on Your Side's Robert Townsend.
Naisha Carroll says she was looking forward to having some fun with her 15-year-old niece, Turkia Jones, at their home in Florissant.
Monday night was supposed to be our girls' night. We was gonna do nails.
Carroll later learned Turkia left home and walked to a neighborhood store with a friend, but her niece never returned.
Because you know, teenagers, sometimes they get like, okay, well, I'm gonna go hang out. And that's what we really thought this was.
The 10th grader's worried aunt filed a missing persons report. Carol says 2 days later, Wednesday, a St. Louis County police officer came to their home and told them Turkia had been struck by a car on Lindbergh near New Halls Ferry Road around 10 Monday night. The driver left the scene.
You just left her there like roadkill. Nobody deserves that. How can you just hit her like that and just keep going?
Sarah Buchanan says her daughter suffered numerous injuries.
Both of her legs are broken, her pelvis is broken, her ribs are broken, her spleen was cut, like they had to stop the internal bleeding. It's bad.
The teen underwent 3 surgeries. She's now out of a coma and can only remember someone in a white truck apparently hit her.
She's screaming. She just can't believe that this happened to her.
So as detectives try to talk to nearby business owners to see if they have any surveillance video from that incident, Turkia's family is pleading for the driver to come forward.
People make mistakes, but you changed our lives forever right now. And we just hoping she can walk again. All of it, it's gonna be a journey.
Robert Townsend, 5 on Your Side.
Florissant police are looking for eyewitnesses to come forward. If you know anything, call the department. Their number 314-831-7000. Here's a live look downtown as weekend storms loom over the bi-state. Chief Meteorologist Scott Connell is timing out when the rain rolls into the St. Louis area.
And it's going to be a few hours. We're still tracking those storms. They are well to our west and northwest right now. Back across parts of Nebraska coming into Kansas, but they are moving our way. And this is the area, really that area just coming out of Nebraska that's the focus for us. The initial wave that's west of Columbia right now, there's not really much to that, and it's running into the very dry air that's been around St. Louis today. We had 90 degrees, but it didn't feel like it, right? So that band is going to push in here, and we think through the overnight hours, 3, 4, 5 o'clock in the morning, you're going to hear those raindrops. This will not be severe. There is no severe threat for this early morning activity. And the main push will shift east of St. Louis by 11 o'clock. The clouds may be a little slower to break up, and that's actually a good thing. As we head into the afternoon and evening hours, there could be storms developing, especially to our south. Those are the ones that could be the troublemakers, and that's why we have that storm alert for late Saturday afternoon into Saturday evening, 4 p.m. to 11 p.m., mainly south of St. Louis. Isolated strong to severe thunderstorms would be possible with gusty winds and some larger hail. But again, that's conditional upon what happens during the morning hours. And the morning will not feature any severe weather. We'll see in a little bit, Kelly.
All right, Scott. We have an update to breaking news we first reported at 6. Police say 5 people were shot this afternoon at a North St. Louis County park and happened just after 5 at Kenneman Park in Jennings. Officers found an adult male who died from his injuries. 4 other men suffered non-life-threatening injuries. We are still trying to learn the victim's identity and other details. Once we do, we'll pass them along to you. And just into the newsroom, Pagedale police are investigating a homicide tonight in Velda. The police chief tells 5 on Your Side officers went inside an apartment and found a man who'd been shot to death. They believe he had been dead for several hours. A person of interest is in custody. New reaction tonight into the expansion of a program to make criminals in St. Louis think twice. For years, St. Louis police have invested in a high-tech tool known as Shotspotter to quickly determine where gunfire is happening as it happens. New at 10, Brent Solomon joins us after speaking with people in Dutchtown, one of the areas where the technology is being expanded.
It sure is, Kelly, and those I caught up with say they welcome it. The more tools to make streets safer, the better. Critics say it comes with a hefty price tag, and even some elected leaders question how effective it is. Along Grand and Merrimack Street, you'll see community, small businesses, homes, people living their everyday lives. But more than they'd like it to, some will tell you crime shows its face.
I heard something about a shooting over here.
This kid got killed in here, inside this building.
Add to that, a homeless man familiar to the community, shot and killed just blocks away. It happened at the top of the year.
I had recently had a friend that just got killed in this area. He was shot in the head twice. And so if there had been a camera there, then they probably would have caught who did it.
Now, South City is seeing more of these mobile cameras that sit high, as well as audio recorders that aren't as visible, known as Shotspotter.
As soon as they hear gunshots, they know exactly where to go.
And all of this technology costs nearly $5 million a year, a mix of city funds, grants, and ARPA money helping foot the bill. Still, some elected leaders have questions.
Dutchtown has a high concentration of crime, but I think ShotSpotter is a technology that's still under evaluation.
In order for actual trust, we have to have actual data. I want to know how many arrests did that help you make? How many convictions take from that? And I know that that's what people in the community want to know.
The city's top cop says grant money will help him expand this technology to Dutchtown and the Mount Pleasant communities.
I think it's helped a lot, honestly. I think they need more in certain different spots.
Well, the city started using ShotSpotter back in 2008, well before the current chief came in. He describes it as a way to, quote, get the trigger pullers off the streets. Kelly.
Thanks, Brent. St. Louis City Hall filled with orange today as gun violence survivors and prevention advocates called for an end to the pain. It is the beginning of Wear Orange Weekend, a time many reflect on those who've lost their lives to gun violence. People shared their painful stories of losing loved ones at this morning's Board of Aldermen meeting.
We're here to support each other and to support those who have been affected by gun violence. And we want gun sense laws that make sense. And we want trauma-informed care for those who are suffering from gun violence.
Some aldermen also wore orange to show their support for the movement. Wear Orange Weekend continues through Sunday. A father honoring his late son brought their tradition to Busch Stadium tonight. Last year, Scott Yell's son, Jackson, died in a hit-and-run crash on a beach trip with his club baseball team in South Carolina. The two were in the process of visiting all 30 major league parks and had only made it to 12. Since his son's untimely death, Yell started a foundation to share the game they love with underprivileged kids. So far, they've raised about $25,000.
I would much rather have Jackson here with me, but I wear Jackson's hat. This is his baseball hat, so he gets to come with me. I feel a lot of support and love. There's a really strong baseball community. It's just been tremendously supportive. It's really uplifting and very therapeutic, I guess is the right word.
Yell only has 2 more stops left on his national tour, Kansas City and Detroit. Well, if you see a plane on fire at St. Louis Lambert International Airport tomorrow, do not panic. It's part of a planned drill. Around 9 o'clock, the airport will simulate a situation where a plane sucks in a drone during takeoff, causing a fire. Fire crews will be there on standby at Terminal 1. The training should end at around noon. The Blue Angels are soaring over St. Louis. The Spirit of St. Louis Air Show is expected to bring big crowds to Chesterfield Valley. This year also marks the 10th anniversary of the air show, and organizers say it is the premier air show in the nation.
We had a great air show, and then we added the advanced F-15 demo, the only place in North America that's going to see it. Sunday, the B-2 is going to do a flyover. We also added the A-10 Warthog, which people have been asking for years. So we are the premier air show this year in the United States. Very excited to have everybody out this weekend.
The Spirit of St. Louis Air Show is open from 9 to 5 both Saturday and Sunday, and kids 12 and under get in free. We were in Belleville tonight for the INAD Shriners Parade. The theme this year, Festival of Food. Participants designed floats with kids on the curb in mind. There was even a float competition with first, second, and third place prizes. Floats are judged on theme and aesthetics. And the 5 on Your Side 5+ bus was part of the parade. Staff members and our parade partners at Scott Credit Union joined in.
Coming up, expiring at the stroke of midnight. What's next for local victims of radioactive contamination as Congress lets the RECA program end?
I think it's just really stinky that and sucks that poisoned people who are dying right now have to watch this.
A Trump travel ban? Now that he's a convicted felon, could the former president be barred from dozens of countries? We'll verify the rumored restrictions.
A storm alert for late Saturday afternoon and evening as we're tracking this developing complex tonight. It brings 1 of 3 rain chances to our area over the weekend. When and where the stronger storms are possible later Saturday.
In less than 2 hours, the Radiation Exposure Compensation Act, known as RECA, will expire. Missouri lawmakers and advocates fought to add an amendment to the National Defense Authorization Act that would have extended and expanded RECA to include local victims of radioactive contamination living near the Westlake landfill and Coldwater Creek. But because Congress is not in session, the act will not be renewed. Even down to the last minute, St. Louis activists are still fighting for compensation.
This is stupid. Find me a bill that has this kind of bipartisan support, that has the opportunity to do this much good. It's like, why are we fighting over this?
If RECA does expire tonight, Just Moms, STL, will head back to D.C. next week to continue finding a path forward. Viral claims say former President Trump could face travel restrictions from multiple countries now that a jury's convicted him of 34 felonies. But is there any truth to those posts? Brandon Lewis from our National Verify team looks into it.
You've probably seen these viral posts claiming former President Donald Trump is no longer able to visit 37 countries due to his recent conviction on 34 felony charges. Several Verify viewers reached out to ask if that's actually true. We used these sources to verify that these claims need context. The countries in the viral meme do have laws restricting certain felons from entering. This can depend on the nature of the crime, when it happened, and the sentence, among other factors. For example, Mexico may refuse entry to those charged with or convicted of what it considers serious crimes, like murder, trafficking, or fraud. The UK and Australia can restrict access to people who served a year or more in prison, and Canada can bar entry to people convicted of some felony and misdemeanor charges. They also have the ability to make individual exceptions. For those traveling on official government business, there are different rules. With your Verify, I'm Brandon Lewis.
What would you like us to verify as election season approaches? Email verify@ksdk.com. At any Olympic Games, the merchandise is almost as exciting as the competition. And after the Tokyo Summer Games with no spectators, the fans are back in France. And so is the rush for Olympic souvenirs. Matt Renew has more on what merchandise is popular in Paris.
Head to the Louvre in Paris. Do you need a paper bag? And downstairs in the basement,
we are headed to the Louvre.
Leslie Lee and her family
I like the sweatshirt.
Have found the 2024 Olympic store.
We've been actually looking for a Paris 2024 merchandise store to bring some gifts home and fun things for the kids.
Where there are rows and rows of merchandise like mascots, mugs, snow globes, t-shirts, even Olympic flame boxer shorts.
So we got a little bit of everything. We got sweatshirts, t-shirts, cups, pins.
And of course, the Paris 2024 Olympic logo, a big seller at the games.
We all noticed the logo is super cool with the flame, and then it looks like a Parisian woman.
And for Leslie, the work of art she was hoping to find in the Louvre.
It's pretty cool.
Some of the most popular souvenirs are anything with a Paris logo on it, of course. It's one of the more unique Olympic logos featuring Art Nouveau typography. The opening ceremony is July 26th, and it's right here on 5 on Your Side. The Coleman More Than Pink returns to Tower Grove Park tomorrow morning. Money raised supports breast cancer research, care, and screening. The park's going to be lined with pink as hundreds take part in the walk. And our very own Kay Quinn will be your MC. The walk starts at 9 o'clock. And you can register for the event by heading to this story on KSDK.com or texting Coleman to 314-425-5355, and we'll be happy to send you a link. And Scott Connell, everyone wants to know, how's the weather going to be for that walk?
Well, I'm taking my umbrella out tomorrow morning, and you know we're gonna be out there and in the rain maybe, but it's a good time. Everybody is so it's a best group of people you will meet. And when you come down to Tower Grove Park tomorrow, you can just join us. We'll have some fun, even though the rain's on the way in. Here it is back in the western portions of Missouri right now, trying to nudge into mid-Missouri. It's starting to run into the drier air, this leading edge of that rain. And you felt it today, how dry the air was. Even though we were at 90 for the high, the dew points were in the 40s to around 50. Our dew point's still just 54, even though it's 78. That's a low dew point. Now, with the rain coming in, we'll drop back into the 60s. The rain arrives as we head towards daybreak. And yes, tomorrow we'll start with rain. But by lunchtime, the chances are dropping off. There'll be some sunshine, but it's late in the day when we have our potential for stronger thunderstorms to develop, and that's mainly going to be to the south of St. Louis as best we can tell right now. This is the area we're really watching. Back here across Nebraska, spreading into Kansas. This is going to turn into a larger complex of storms dropping to the southeast. So that won't give us the severe weather, but the boundary it puts down may be the focus for some stronger storms tomorrow evening. And that's why we have the storm alert from 4 p.m. until 11 p.m. Saturday evening, when you need to be alert for the potential of some 60-mile-per-hour winds or some large hail, especially to our south. Again, that's later tomorrow. What's coming in as we head into the morning hours and through early tomorrow morning is not severe. It's just rain with some rumbles of thunder. In fact, we need some rain. Many of us do, and we'll get a good, nice, gentle rain or a decent rain for the garden. And then tomorrow afternoon, that's boundaries down to our south. So as we head into the evening hours, we'll have to watch and see if we can focus a few stronger thunderstorms down here. That's still questionable. Through the overnight hours tomorrow night into early on Sunday, another batch of moisture slides on in. That'll flirt with the metro area for early on Sunday, then it pushes out. That should be it for the day on Sunday for rain chances, and we will see the sun returning Sunday afternoon. It will be comfortable. Temperatures will be in the 70s to around 80 degrees. So we break it all down over the next 10 days. Tomorrow, obviously it starts wet. Our only concern for severe weather is tomorrow evening, and it looks like those storms would be isolated in the evening that could be severe. So even though the rain will be widespread tomorrow morning, that's not severe. It does, though, impact your outdoor plans. We'll have our umbrellas. You know, hopefully it lets up for the air show.
Yeah, I hope it does. Yeah. All right, thanks, Scott. Holder Kurwicki has sports.
Kelly, the Cardinals offense busted out tonight against Colorado, but would it be enough to overcome the Rockies? I'll have that and more in the highlights next to sports.
This 5 on Your Side Sports Report is sponsored by Telly Tire and Auto Centers, driving your way since 1942.
The Cardinals entered the night losers of 5 of their last 7, but news that Wilson Contreras may be back sooner than expected seemed to lift their spirits. The Cards would jump out to a 3-0 lead in the first inning tonight behind this Nolan Gorman drive to right center. That would plate one. It would be 4-0 in the top of the 4th, and the Rockies have the bases juice when Michael Talia drives one down the right field line. 3 runs are going to come around to score. Talia is going to try and stretch this one into a triple, and watches the throw from the cutoff man hits his back foot and careens into left field. The game would be tied after the Little League inside the park grand slam. That's something you don't see too often. It would be 5-all in the bottom of the 8th when Brennan Donovan knocks one to center. The center fielder Doyle is going to come up firing. We've got a play at the plate, and Michael Ciani is safe. The Cardinals would drive in 2 more runs. They would win this one by a final of 8-5. Speaking of baseball, there's a neat camp this week in Belleville. It's the 9th annual Mike Kelly Foundation Baseball Camp. The foundation was founded to honor the life of the former Althoff High School pitcher who died of cancer in 2013. It's one of the largest free baseball camps for kids in the area, and it combines the two passions of the foundation's namesake.
When he passed away, we decided we wanted to do something that really exemplified what Mike was all about. He loved baseball and he loved helping young kids. One of the coolest parts about this camp is, even though it is free, it's about as high quality of a camp as you're going to find around here, and we get that feedback a lot from parents, which is encouraging.
This 5 on Your Side St. Louis City SC coverage is sponsored by Together Credit Union.
City SC has struggled for the past month, but the team may have found a new offensive pairing in their 3-3 draw against Miami last Saturday. Of course, in soccer, one of the keys to scoring goals is midfield play, and head coach Bradley Carnell feels confident in what he saw from Celio Pompeo, Indiana Vasilev, and Jose Kajima, who either scored or assisted on all 3 City goals against a full-strength Miami squad. As for what exactly stood out to the skipper,
the way we created chances, the way we gained momentum, the way we put pressure on that back line gives me a lot of hope. We've been working pretty hard on exploiting, space in transition, and that's our bread and butter. So yeah, we're excited with the progression of some of the guys.
Battlehawks wide receiver Hakeem Butler is continuing to just rack up the awards. Today, he was named the UFL Offensive Player of the Year. Butler led the league with 45 catches for 652 yards and tied for second with 5 touchdowns. Earlier this week, he was honored as an All-United Football League performer.
I'm nothing without my teammates, my coaches, the trainers. This has been a long, tumultuous, very, eye-opening year for me and my teammates, and it's been fun, but it's been very hard, a lot jam-packed into one, but I'm so thankful.
Out of U City today, as Will Franklin was officially named the new head football coach. Franklin was a standout at receiver for Mizzou and played a season for the Chiefs before returning home and coaching at Vashon. I caught up with Franklin this evening, and he wanted to share this message with his student athletes.
I'm here to build you on and off the field. I have a serious passion about, young men because I want to be the person that they didn't have or I didn't have at their age, and be able to give back and give them a path of success.
And finally tonight, we have a good update to a scary situation in Kansas City. After suffering a seizure and slipping into cardiac arrest during a special teams meeting, 25-year-old defensive end B.J. Thompson is awake and has been removed from a ventilator, according to Chiefs Vice President Rick Burkholder. It's still unclear what caused Thompson to have that medical episode. Obviously, Kelly.
Wow, that's so scary.
Football is a very scary game, but they say his prognosis long-term is good, so that's good news. At the end of the day, all we have is our lives, and we want him to live a long and healthy one.
And so young.
Right, 25.
Wow. Okay, thanks, Holden. Well, spinning the wheel one last time, a final farewell with Pat Sajak after hosting the wheel for more than 4 decades.
How do you like that? There we go.
Love it. Let's go.
It's the end of an era on Wheel of Fortune. Pat Sajak spun the wheel for the last time tonight. He's retiring after 41 years as host of the game show. In his farewell message, he talked about the privilege he had of being welcomed in millions of homes every night for decades.
I've always felt that the privilege came with a responsibility to keep this daily half hour a safe place for family fun. No social issues, no politics, nothing embarrassing, I hope, just a game. But gradually it became more than that, a place where kids learned their letters, where people from other countries honed their English skills, where families came together along with friends and neighbors and entire generations. What an honor to have played even a small part in all that.
Ryan Seacrest is taking over hosting duties in September alongside Vanna White. All right, Scott, final look as we head into the weekend.
Yeah, we're trying to buy a vowel for tomorrow. All right, we definitely have rain in the morning. That's not severe, but the potential for some stronger storms from 4 to 11 p.m., mainly south of St. Louis. But have your umbrella around. It will be wet in the morning.
All right, thanks so much for joining us. Be sure to join the Today in St. Louis crew starting at 6 a.m. Have a great tomorrow.